How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Monday, July 5th, 2021. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that goes on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. With that said, I think it's worth starting in Canada, in Montreal. It was game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals last night, and coming into this game, the Tampa Bay Lightning came in with a 3-0 series lead, and the Montreal Canadiens were able to pull off a 3-2 win in overtime. Looking at how this game eventually made it here, the Montreal Canadiens would score the first goal of the game. It was Josh Anderson in the first period. The second period would only see the Lightning scores. It was Barclay Goodrow making it 1-1. And then for the third period, it would be Alexander Romanov for Montreal, just a little under halfway into the half. And then 5 minutes later, Pat Maroon would tie it up for the Lightning. And then in overtime, it will be Josh Anderson getting the brace for himself, keeping this matchup alive. Game 5 will be tomorrow, Wednesday, July 7th, as that game will be in Tampa Bay. Just to give you a quick look to what the NHL is looking like. Taking a look at what's going on in the NBA, Game 1 of the NBA Finals will take place tonight as the second seed in the Western Conference, Phoenix Suns, will host the third seed in the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee Bucks. Suns coming into this one after beating the Clippers in 6. And the Suns came into this matchup with the second best regular season record behind the Utah Jazz. The Milwaukee Bucks come into this matchup after beating the Atlanta Hawks in 6 in their last series, and they were the only team that actually swept the team in the first round. So, of course, these two teams have been competing incredibly well, and their roads both lead to this exact moment. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB, starting off in San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the St. Louis Cardinals, and in a game that did not see scoring until the final 3 innings, the Cardinals would end up beating the Giants 5-3 to pick up their 42nd win of the season. For the San Francisco Giants, the start and the loss will go to Kevin Gausman. He allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 8 batters on the day. With this loss, Kevin Gausman's now 8-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed to great pitching from the St. Louis Cardinals. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start and the win would go to Kwang Hyun Kim. Kim would allow no earned runs, only 3 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he's 3-5 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite third baseman Nolan Arenado will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their right fielder Tommy Edman will go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And with this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 42-44. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 9 games in the division. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now 53-31. That is the best record in the National League West. That is currently the best record in the National League, and that's still the best record in the major leagues. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They now sit half a game ahead of the second place defending World Series champs Los Angeles Dodgers at the moment. Jumping out to Miami, speaking of the Dodgers went to Miami and they fell short of the Marlins as the Marlins were able to pull off a 5-4 win after they were able to break their 4-4 tie in the bottom of the 8th thanks to a Jorge Alfaro solo home run. For the Los Angeles Dodgers in this matchup, the start will go to their elite starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. He allowed 4 runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss would end up going to the Dodgers closer on the night, Victor Gonzalez. Victor Gonzalez would end up allowing 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's 3-1 on the year. Their center fielder, Chris Taylor, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run, he was the only player on the Dodgers with more than 1 hit on the day. For the Miami Marlins, the start for the day would end up going to Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers would allow 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The win for Miami would go to their third relief pitcher on the day, David Hess. Hess would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he walked 2 and struck out 1. He blew his first save of the season, but with this win, he is now 1-0 on the season. The win for Miami will go to their closer, Anthony Bender. Bender would allow no earned runs in one inning pitch as he struck out a batter. That'd be his first save of the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. And the only other player on their team with more than one hit was their catcher, Jorge Alfaro, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run, hitting his third home run of the season, and that was the go-ahead home run. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Pirates were able to pull off an 11-1 win at home. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the loss will go to Max Fried. He allowed 6 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Max Fried is 5-5 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, would end up going 2 for 3. Those are the only 2 players with more than one hit for Atlanta. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start and the win would end up going to Chase DeYoung. Chase DeYoung would allow 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, he's 1-3 on the year. And in their batting lineup, their second baseman, Adam Frazier, would go 2 for 3 with 2 walks and a run. Their third baseman, Ke'Bryan Hayes, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the season. Their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their catcher, Jacob Stallings, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 runs on the day for the team. Their first baseman, who's turned right field, John Nogowski, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their left fielder, Ben Gamel, would end up going 3 for 5 with 6 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 5th and 6th home runs of the day. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 31-53. That is the worst record in the National League Central and the second worst record in the National League. They've only won 3 of their last 10 games. They've won their last 2 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 19 games in the division. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 41-43. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East as they've lost 4 of their last 10 games. They now trail the New York Mets by 4.5 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the defending American League champs hosted the Cleveland Indians, and the Rays were able to pull off the 9-8 home win in order to get their 49th win of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start would end up being given to Logan Allen. Logan Allen would allow 5 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. The loss, however, would go to the Cleveland Indians closer, Emmanuel Clase. Emmanuel Clase would allow 2 earned runs without registering an out. With this loss, he would blow his 2nd save of the season, and he's now 3-4. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Franmil Reyes, would go 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs and a run as he hit his 12th home run of the year. For the Tampa Bay Rays, the start was given to Rich Hill. He allowed 1 earned run in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win for Tampa Bay will go to their closer, Pete Fairbanks, as Pete Fairbanks would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 2-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Manuel Margot, would end up going a perfect 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day. Their third baseman, Yandy Diaz, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he had his 4th home run of the year. Their first baseman, Ji-Man Choi, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And then their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, would end up going 2 for 4 for himself. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 49-36. That is the 2nd best record in the American League East as they've won their last 2 games. They've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 4.5 games in the division, and they are currently holding the top American League wildcard spot as they sit half a game ahead of the Oakland Athletics in the race. With this loss, the Cleveland Indians are now 42-40. That is the 2nd best record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 7 games, and they've lost 9 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 6 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 5 games for the 2nd wildcard spot. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Chicago White Sox for an AL Central matchup. In this one, the Twins would end up beating the White Sox 8-5 as the White Sox scored all 5 of their runs in the 6th and 7th inning, but it just wasn't enough. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the loss was given to Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease would allow 6 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 8 on the day. With this loss, Dylan Cease is 7-4. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, reigning American League MVP, Jose Abreu, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 15th home run of the season. And then for the Minnesota Twins, the start and the win was given to Bailey Ober. Bailey Ober would allow no earned runs and only 2 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he's 1-1 on the season, and the save was given to Hansel Robles, the Twins closer. He would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. With this save, he now has 8 on the year. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, who on the day was Luis Arias, would end up going 2 for 4 for the day. Their right fielder, Max Kepler, would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 8th and 9th home runs of the season. Their designated hitter, Miguel Sano, would go 2 for 4 with a run for himself. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 35-48. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central as they've won their last 2 games and they've won 4 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 13.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are now 49-35. That is the best record in the American League Central. They are also currently holding the 3rd seed in the American League as they are 3rd among division leaders. They've lost their last 3 games and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now sit 6 games ahead of the 2nd place Cleveland Indians in the division. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Mets were able to pull off a 4-2 win as 3 of their runs came in the 7th inning to break the 1-1 tie, 2 of them coming from Pete Alonso's 2-run double. The start and the loss for Milwaukee would go to Brandon Woodruff. He allowed 4 earned runs in 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Willy Adames, would go 2 for 4 with a run. He was the only player on the Brewers with more than 1 hit. For the New York Mets, the start was given to Tyler McGill. Tyler McGill would allow 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The win would go to the Mets' second relief pitcher, Seth Lugo. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he's 2-1 on the season, and the save would go to their closer, Edwin Diaz. Diaz would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2, picking up his 18th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Brandon Nimmo, will go 2 for 4 with a run. He was the only player on the Mets with more than 1 hit. With this win, the New York Mets are now 44-37. That is the best record in the National League East. They are currently holding the 3rd seed in the National League, and they're currently holding the 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture right now as they sit 3rd amongst division leaders at the moment. They have now won 5 of their last 10 games, and they now currently sit 4 games ahead of the 2nd place Washington Nationals in the division, just to give a sense of where they are. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 51-35. That is the best record in the National League Central as they are currently holding the 2nd seed out of National League division leaders. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 2 of their last 10. They now sit 6 games ahead of the 2nd place Cincinnati Reds in the division following this loss. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the Detroit Tigers, and the Tigers were able to beat the Rangers 7-3. For the Texas Rangers in this matchup, all 3 of their runs would come in the 9th inning after the Tigers scored all of their 7. 5 of their 7 were scored in the 6th inning. For the Texas Rangers, the start and the loss would end up being given to Colby Allard as Allard allowed 5 runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this loss, he's 2-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their right fielder, Joey Gallo, would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 21st home run of the season. For the Detroit Tigers, the start and the win was given to Willie Peralta. Peralta would allow no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, he is now 2-1 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite designated hitter Miguel Cabrera would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their third baseman, Jeimer Candelario, would go 2 for 3 with a run. And with this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 39-46. That is the third best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 10.5 games in the division, just to give a sense of where the Tigers are right now. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 33-52. That is the worst record in the American League West, as they've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 19 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Phillies were able to beat the Cubs 13-3. As 9 of the 13 runs from the Phillies would come in the last 2 innings. For the Chicago Cubs in this matchup, the start went to Zach Davies. Davies would allow 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, as he only struck out a batter. The loss would go to the Cubs' first relief pitcher, Rex Brothers. Brothers would allow 2 earned runs in .1 inning pitched, as he struck out a batter. With this loss, Brothers is 2-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Javier Baez, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. Baez hit his 19th home run of the season. And then their second baseman, Nico Horner, would end up going 2 for 4 on the day. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start was initially given to Matt Moore. Matt Moore would only last 4 innings, as he allowed 2 earned runs and struck out 4. The win would go to the Philadelphia Phillies' first relief pitcher, who on this day was Connor Brogdon. Brogdon would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched, as he struck out a batter. With his win, he's 5-2 on the year. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, former National League MVP Andrew McCutchen, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He would have a very good game for himself. Their first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Hoskins hit his 19th home run of the season. Their third baseman, Alec Bohm, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Bohm would end up hitting his 5th home run of the season. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 40-42. That is the third best. The Phillies now own the 4th best record in the National League East, as they've won 6 of their last 10. Alongside the Atlanta Braves, they now sit 4.5 games behind the New York Mets in the division. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 42-43. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central, as they currently have the worst losing streak in baseball right now. They're on a 10-game losing streak at the moment. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 8.5 games in the division after being tied with them not that long ago. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals hosted the Cincinnati Reds for an interleague matchup. And in this matchup, the Reds would end up beating the Royals 6-2, as 4 of their runs came in the 7th inning. 1 of them from Nick Castellanos and 3 of them from Eugenio Suarez. For the Kansas City Royals, the start and the loss will go to Mike Minor, as he allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He struck out 6 on the day. With this loss, he's 6-7 on the season. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Nicky Lopez, who went 2 for 4 with a run. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start and the win went to Vladimir Gutierrez. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched, as he struck out 6. With his win, he's 4-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their elite third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Suarez hit his 17th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 44-40. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central, as they've won their last 5 games. They've won 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 6 games in the division, and they trail the San Diego Padres by 4.5 games for the 2nd National League wildcard spot. They are actually the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 35-49. That is the worst record in the American League Central. That is currently the 3rd worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've won 8 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 14 games in the division. Jumping out to Anaheim, the Los Angeles Angels hosted the Boston Red Sox, and in this matchup, the Red Sox would end up beating the Angels 5-4. All 5 of their runs came in the first 5 innings, as the Angels tried at the end. They just didn't have enough to add to it. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start and the loss for the day would go to Jose Suarez. Suarez would allow 2 earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Suarez is 3-2. In their batting lineup, their second baseman David Fletcher would go 2 for 5 with an RBI. And their shortstop Jose Iglesias would go 2 for 3 with a run. Additionally, their right fielder Jose Rojas would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 4th home run of the season. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the win will go to Martin Perez. Martin Perez would end up he would allow 2 runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With his win, he's 7-4 on the season, and the save will go to Adam Ottavino, who allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. That'll be his 7th save of the season. For the Boston Red Sox, their third baseman Rafael Devers would end up going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. Devers would end up hitting his 21st home run of the season. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 54-32. That is the best record in the American League East and the best record in the American League. Just to give a sense of where they sit, they've won their last 2 games and they've won 9 of their last 10. They now sit 4.5 games ahead of the second place Tampa Bay Rays in the division. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 42-42. That is the 4th best record in the American League West, as they've lost 4 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 9.5 games in the division, to give a sense of where the Angels are right now. And then last but not least, jumping out to Slam Diego, the San Diego Padres hosted the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals were able to get the best of the Padres, winning this game 7-5. This game was tied at 5 in the 7th inning. Josh Bell's home run would give the Nats the lead, and then a sac fly from Alcides Escobar would put them up by 2. For the San Diego Padres, for the entire game, the start would go to Joe Musgrove. He allowed 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss will go to the Padres' second relief pitcher on the day, Tim Hill. Tim Hill would allow an earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's 5-4 on the season. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Jake Cronenworth, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. Their right fielder, Will Myers, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then for the Washington Nationals, the start would go to John Lester. He allowed 5 runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win for Washington would go to their second relief pitcher, Wander Suero. Suero would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. The save would go to the Washington Nationals closer, Brad Hand. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. That would be his 19th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Alcides Escobar, would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their shortstop, Trey Turner, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 15th home run of the season. Their first baseman, Josh Bell, will go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 12th home run of the season. And then their center fielder, Victor Robles, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 runs on the day. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now 41-42. That is the second best record in the National League East, as they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 50-37. That is the third best record in the National League West, as they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Diego Padres by 4.5 games in the division. They are currently sitting in the second spot in the National League wild card race, as they sit 4 games behind the defending champs LA Dodgers for that first spot, and they sit 4.5 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds to hold that spot where they are right now, just to give a sense of where the Padres sit right now. But that is what the MLB is looking like as of right now. And then looking forward to what's going on, especially in the world of soccer, looking at yesterday's matchup. Brazil was able to beat Peru 1-0, as their only goal will come from Paqueta in the 35th minute. So they are the first team to advance to the Copa America final. And then looking forward to what's going on today, the other half of that will be played as Argentina will face off against Colombia. And then the first matchup of Euros 2020 is going to take place as Italy is going to face off against Spain. And this matchup is going to see who's going to face off against the winner between Denmark and England in the Euro 2020 final. But once again, Today is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. I want to thank everyone for listening to all 24 minutes of this piece. And once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are complete, I will come back tomorrow, Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, for another installment of The Elite. But until then, I want to thank everyone once again. I hope all is well. Thanks for listening to my piece, and peace out. I'll catch you with another episode tomorrow.